transfer functions. We can change the individual tissue, so we can make different things disappear. So we can remove the body bag by making it transparent, and we've also made the skin transparent, and we start to see some of the damage from the accident. That, for example, doesn't look quite right. That's the top of the car bonnet. The bottom of the car bonnet, there's another break just there. So you can see that there's clearly some injuries. It's quite substantial. It's not actually a compound fracture, it's still inside the skin, but it's ruptured the muscle surface. It's quite traumatic. You can see there's also a break there. That doesn't look quite right either, so there's clearly lots of bone damage. We can go in and have another look at that. You can see the detail in the data. It's very high resolution. It's like real texture on the surfaces of the bones. You can clearly see the break here, 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 broken bones here and here. These are all quite traumatic injuries and would have been very serious, but could have been survived if she'd received treatment very quickly. She might not have died. But unfortunately, there's one injury, and showing this to a doctor, they immediately see it. I've shown this to doctors and they immediately see, oh, that's it. If you rotate it around, you can see there's a displacement here. The bones are clearly not quite lined up the way they should be. Which ones? Just through here. The trachea? It's just there. You can see there's a displacement. What happened is she was actually slammed down onto the bonnet of the car and it hit her. And that's actually what killed her. Her neck was broken instantly. So she died immediately at the scene. It's a very traumatic, very sad case, but solvable without doing an autopsy. Unfortunately, it's not legal to not do an autopsy. At the moment, you have to do it. So what they're actually doing is they're taking this and looking at the data before they actually do the autopsy for real. So they can actually decide what they need to do. They can find things that they don't want to miss, which is very important. There are things you can see inside this data that are actually very difficult to see in real life. And this is a good example. Gas inside the body. So you can see here what they're actually highlighting is the gas tissue boundaries. So you see the skin surface again, but you also see gas inside the lungs, so gas inside the gut, normal places to find it, and also find air spaces inside the gut. That's really important because in cases of drowning, whether or not there's air inside the lungs tells you whether or not the person died from drowning or whether or not they were dead before they went into the water. If there's water in the lungs, they were already dead when they hit the water. Because otherwise you float the water out. That is really important. Because if you cut into the patient, it's gone. There's a good example on the video that's on there, I think. They talk about strangulation. When you strangle somebody, the air pressure inside the lungs and trachea goes up as they're sort of fighting to breathe, and air is forced into the tissues around the trachea. And you can see that in here. It's almost impossible to see in real life because we're talking about very small pockets of air. We can just highlight it with nice bright colours so that it stands out and say, look. So you can actually do, in some cases, better autopsies without doing a physical autopsy. And it can be a very, very useful tool for a doctor.
And for the patient.